Let's look for a quiz on camera. That we can do then. There has to be something interesting here. Because they have some interesting quizzes normally. But I don't know what to do. There's some quizzes that I've already done and some that I've seen somewhere else. But I don't know what to do. How well do you know the 6 parts of a dog? Sure. Well, this is relevant. I have a dog. We're gonna find out how well I know the 6 parts of a dog. That sounds weird, but let's find out. There are 6 scientific parts of the dogs. Well, very well put them. How well do you know them? Take the quiz to find out. Let's see. Let's begin with the basics. What is this part of the dog called? Here's a hint of the 6 parts of the dog. It's the part that is used the most during the dog's feeding process, so that's probably... If I had to guess, I'd say it's the snout. The part of the dog used for chewing, breathing, sneezing, throwing up and biting villains. This whole big face tube would of course be the gums, the part of the dog that stores teeth, swallows teeth and glows with a pale ghostly green light when it is time for the ghost to find more teeth. Pretty sure that's called the valve. The valve is where the dog's brain is and when the dog senses danger. It can open its valve to make its brain fall out onto the ground. The valve should be checked and inspected semi-annually by a professional. I'm certain the answer here is the main hole, the part of the dog where the dog's eggs are stored. When the dog would like to have a human child, it opens the main hole and squirts an egg onto the ground. This enables either a human girl or a human boy to hatch from the egg, climb onto the dog's back and ride the dog off of a cliff, killing both of them. If you do not know something as basic as the main hole, you should not be allowed anywhere near a dog. And this is the true fact. We had to get rid of many babies already that recording doggo just spat out, just so that they don't ride off of a cliff. We wanna keep recording doggo around for a little longer. Number 2, many dog owners observe that the dog may quiver, shake or even bark while having a vivid dream. That is something that recording doggo indeed has. Which of the 6 parts of the dog is responsible for creating dreams? Well, as far as I've seen, I would suspect it's the legs, but let's see the answer. Shot in the dark here, but I think that would be the insanity sac. It is located deep in the dog's skull, and every time the dog closes its eyes, an insanity sac creates images of the dog's brain, of the dog being milked incorrectly by a farmer with no mouth. Again, just a guess, so don't hold me to it. A great guess, but I don't think that's it. My guess here is the attraction crown. Dogs are the only animals that are sexually attracted to every other species of animals. So whenever they move while asleep, it is an indication that they are having a dream about seeing a naked bear or duck, which makes them do a small sleeping dance of sexual joy. I remember hearing somewhere that dog dreams come from neurons firing off in the ignition wires, which are located inside the central primary part of the dog. It is obvious that the acid bog is where dreams come from, located directly underneath the pink underpart of the dog. The acid bog is the part of the dog that allows it to experience thoughts about salmon. Dogs hate salmon because they think salmon look too much like dogs and are trying to steal their thunder. When the dog shakes while sleeping, it is out of rage as it thinks about salmon, which it considers to be the imposter dog. This was a very simple question. It's though a wrong answer, it is the ignition wires. More than anything. Identify this part. Hint, it is one of the 6 parts of the dog. This might be dumb, but I think it's the ground penis. The ground penis is very similar to the dog's sexual penis, but the ground penis is used for stability and balance instead for sexual intercourse and swatting away dragonflies. That is actually the back penis in that situation, if we talk about penis in general. I think it's called the horse's similarity. Horses have a thing on them that is similar to this thing on a dog, and that's the only similarity that dogs have with horses. That is 100% correct, however. My guess is going to be the combustion hose. It's responsible for transferring heat, has short black claws at the bottom and should never be tinkered with. It is plain to see that this part of the dog is known as the mondo nipples, which are always massive and strange because every dog is always pregnant and not fun to look at. I'm growing frustrated with how easy this quiz is. Well, I'm gonna go for the combustion hose because the mondo nipples. seriously. And identify this dog part. It can be found upon a dog. I feel like I remember this one being the bad palm. It is similar to the human palm, but it cannot cup or anything. So everything you put on in it immediately falls out. It is essentially useless for a dog. I'm almost certain that this one is called the saddle. And this is the part of the dog that functions solely as a place to put tools, ropes and small dogs that you want to transport. Headrest. I have never been more confident than I am in declaring that this is the one big gill which dog use to inhale, exhale and cough all at the same time. No, it is a headrest. Me uses it quite a lot. While it slightly differs from dog to dog and breed to breed, all canines store the potential for massive amounts of energy. In which part of the dog is energy created and stored? Tougher. Let's see what answers we get for that. Please don't hold me to this, but I think that energy comes from the meats, which are stored directly under the dog's hair. When the dog needs energy, it burns its meats, which send energy all the way to the grounded penis, and try to muster up the energy to get the dog to walk upright, which is always trying to do, but can never quite get. I thought energy was created and stored in the dog's crusts, which are similar to human eyes, but far wetter and more gunked up. The dogs create energy, their eye area will become goopier than ever and they love it. I think energy comes from the filter, stored deep under the dog's hair, which turns all of the dog's aggression and anger from not being allowed to go to the bathroom when they want into productive energy for running and chewing. Of course, dogs store energy in their open clamps, which are located just under the dog's locked clamps, which are deep below the hair. It makes me upset to think someone getting this easy question incorrect. Well, if you don't explain what the locked clamps are, we cannot go towards the open clamps. No, this is the filter, where negative energy is transformed into productive energy. This is 100% correct for recording dog, at least. And now, at last, we have reached the final question about the sixth part of the dog. Here it is. Dogs can give birth to upward of 10 puppies at once. Which part of the dog is responsible for reproduction and birthing? Well, I think I remember reading that dogs are pregnant all of the time and will occasionally squirt puppies into the world out of a part of the dog that is known as the gape. The gape opens once a year, usually during the autumn solstice. While the gape is open, puppies can crawl out of the dog, but sometimes geese and raccoons can crawl in. If a raccoon or a goose crawls into the dog's gape, the dog must spend the year using enzymes to turn the geese and raccoons into puppies. Scientists call the part of the dog responsible for birthing the big secret, because nobody knows where it is. Just like with Pokemon, I believe that dogs produce life from the engine major. Not to be confused with the engine minor, which is responsible for killing the dog immediately if it somehow manages to live to its 40th birthday, which is simply too old for a dog to ever be. Dogs are never created or destroyed, there are just enough dogs around that everyone can have one or two. Dogs don't give birth because there doesn't need to be any more of them. This quiz has been so easy that I am mad that I even wasted my time with it. It's the big secret. Just like with Pokemon, we have no clue where dogs come from. Let's get our results for this. You have the 2014 Toyota Land Cruiser on your mind, too much to focus on the parts of the dog. Most of your answers got mixed up with parts of the 2014 Toyota Land Cruiser, which means that your heart wasn't really in this from the start. Just feel like you were mashing up stuff about the Land Cruiser with the dog's bodily functions. You might want to get your Land Cruiser obsession totally out of your system before you circle back to take this quiz again. Well, interesting. In that situation I wouldn't even know what answers I did wrong, because it all seemed rather clear to me. Maybe I should take a Toyota Land Cruiser quiz next time. Wonder if they have something like this.